How do we measure success as a Christian leader? It's something that not very many people want to talk about or address, but that's what we're going to do here today. So I think it's important for us to remember that when we talk about success and measuring success, that there's this misunderstanding that the only measurement, the only metric is money. And of course, if you are a Christian leader and a Christian entrepreneur, you're a business owner, a business leader, you know that that has to be part of the conversation. And as Christians, we can't shy away from the fact that we have to generate revenue in our companies in order for our companies to continue to grow and continue to impact people and to bring people into our ecosystem and on our teams. But what we need to do is we need to remember that that's not the only metric. So I'm going to give you two things today that I want you to keep in mind as you think about measuring success as a Christian leader. Number one, what's measured matters. What's measured matters. And so whatever you want to pay attention to, what matters to you, well, measure that. And that can be your marker for success. Number one, we always go to revenue, right? Well, it is important. We do have to set revenue goals because it matters. But what else could you measure? What's important to you? Because if we say something is important, but then we don't measure it, then it doesn't get the attention that it needs. So besides that, what's important to you? Maybe you're thinking, well, hey, I burn out as a business owner a lot, and I'm afraid of going so far into burnout because I'm working so hard that I can't bounce back, but I have to provide for my family. And so there's this constant tension. Well, for you, maybe a measurement is how many dinners I have with my family every week. I'm in it 7 nights a week, we're having dinner together, right? So measure that because what's measured matters. And that totally impacts your business. Are you kidding me? The things that we do outside of work impact what happens in our jobs. What else could you measure? How am I taking care of myself? I see this over and over and over again. There are so many times where I talk with leaders and business owners that are exhausted. They're burning the midnight oil. They're not taking care of themselves. They're not eating right. They're not exercising. There's no investment into their well-being because all is sacrificed for the sake of the business so that you can provide for your family and also do something that you're passionate about, right? But it is so important for us to invest in ourselves. So I add a measurement of investing in myself, right? So how many times am I working out every week? How many times am I making sure that I invest in myself through quiet time with the Lord, through meditating on His Word, through worship, right? And I'm telling you, those measurements are important because they impact what's happening inside the business. So yes, you have to measure revenue, but make sure that you have other markers that you are paying attention to, first of all, in your personal life. How many times you want to have dinner with your family, or how many times you work out, or how many nights a week you get 8 hours of sleep, right? Because all of those things in your personal life impact your business and your professional life. What else could you measure? Well, within the business, so we move from personal, we go into business, right? We have revenue. Well, what else can you measure? Maybe it's team dynamics. Maybe it's culture, right? And maybe there are things like, hey, we want to bring on X amount of new clients, but we want to bring them on through values, right? We're value driven. So we want to make sure that they align with us and our mission and our vision, right? So those are just examples that hopefully spark some ideas for you. It doesn't mean that you have to copy these metrics, but I just want us to understand that we have to talk about this and we have to measure things. And you wonder, like, well, how do we measure success? Is it only dollars? No, it's not. And I would argue, and I say this to business leaders, I say this to worship leaders, I say this to pastors. I would argue that if your family life, your home life, your personal life, your health is in shambles, then success doesn't matter, right? The rest of it is just tiny compared to the importance of your family thriving and your family walking in truth and in health and in relationship with you. And so let's not just define success by measuring revenue. Let's measure the things that matter, right? Because what's measured matters. So let's measure those things and let's build on that foundation, making sure that we have those things in place. And if I say, hey, I got to the end of the week and all of the things that I wanted to do, I ate dinner with my family every night. I got 8 hours of sleep 5 of the nights. I worked out almost every day, right? Those things, then you can take that energy and that joy because your family life and your personal life is thriving and bring it over to your business life. And then all of the different things, like how do I measure success in my business? Okay, same thing applies, right? Like I said, what's measured matters over there, but we need to have more than just revenue. So maybe for you, it's like, hey, my measurement is I want to donate X amount to this cause that I'm passionate about. For my husband and I, it's building churches in Africa. For us, we want to build X amount of churches every year in Africa. And so that is a measurement that matters to us, and it drives and has a compound domino effect on everything else, because then it's just math, right? You're like, okay, well, if that's how much I want to give, and that's, 20% of this, then I need to make this much, right? Well, then it's just an equation. So find the things that matter to you and let that fuel your growth so that it's not just like, well, I want to make $1 million. Great, but let's go a little bit deeper. So that's number one. What's measured matters. Start with your personal life, then take it into the business, and you will be amazed at what that does for you. I want to take a moment before we continue today's video to invite you into something new. If you're a faith-driven business owner or leader, this is for you. At Overflow Worship, we believe that leadership is worship in action. We believe it's not just about influence, it's about stewardship. It's showing up with integrity, courage, and conviction, especially when no one's watching. It's surrendering your plans to God and still building with bold, strategic action. We exist to equip leaders like you with more than inspiration. We give you the how, systems, strategies, and usable tools that simplify growth, guard your peace, and multiply your impact. Because you weren't meant to lead alone. So I want to personally invite you into our community by subscribing to our free newsletter today. I'll send you encouragement and the tools and truth you need right to your inbox. Visit overflowworship.com/newsletter or click the link below. Let's get back to today's video. Number 2 is, how do we measure success as a Christian? We need to remember that we reap what we celebrate. So the old saying is, right, you reap what you sow. Right, very true. But I had this thought recently, and it's been just sitting with me, and I can't quite get over it. And I heard somebody say this, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, and it stuck with me. They said, you reap what you celebrate. And I keep thinking about that because it is so true. The things that we celebrate, the things that we give weight to, and we say, wow, good job, those are the things that grow. And so think about within your family life, within your personal life, what am I celebrating? And maybe if you have goals that you haven't been able to achieve, you could flip your mindset, and rather than, okay, first step 1, I got to do this, step 2, I got to do this to reach your goal, maybe you can begin to celebrate the journey. And it really comes back to measuring backwards, right? And celebrating how far you've come. But celebrate your journey along the way, celebrate each step, and then celebrate the result, right? Like, hey, as a person, I celebrate healthy living, right? As a person, I celebrate a thriving family life. And then that comes over into your business, and you reap what you celebrate. So what matters to you? Well, all of that boils down to values. You need to make sure that you have your core values as a business dialed in. What are they? What do you stand for? Because as you bring team members onto your team, you're gonna reap what you celebrate. So if you're celebrating overworking and putting in way too much time and way too big of a workload, like that's just what we do here, well, you're gonna reap that in ways that are not great for you as a business owner. But if you celebrate healthy work-life balance, if you celebrate those boundaries and you exemplify that, right, then you're going to reap that as well. And so I think it's important for us to think about what we want to celebrate. Do you want to celebrate efficient systems? Do you want to celebrate certain wins? And yes, revenue markers, absolutely. Yes, successes, we have to set those goals. Hey, we need to reach this number. We need this many sales. Absolutely. But Go a little bit deeper, align it through your values, because you are going to reap what you celebrate. So those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. How do you measure success as a Christian leader? For me, I remember what's measured matters, and I remember that I reap what I celebrate. I hope this has been encouraging for you, and I'll see you next time.